Hi everyone. I was ruminating today about why it is that I'm not as active on social media as I used to be, particularly in my advocacy work and healing conversations that I've had about how to heal from trauma and what that looks like in walking with Christ and healing from trauma, and whether that's church or family related. And I was ruminating about it today, and I thought I can make a little video about this, say what's up, and it also might explain for some of you wondering. I've had people ask me why don't you make videos, or are you okay? You know, comments on YouTube from strangers saying, where are you? Are you all right? And the answer is, I am doing well, for starters, but I've been having difficulty posting, and at first it was kind of, I'm busy, and sometimes that's true. Taking care of 2 little girls is a full-time job, and then I was also doing publishing work publishing my own books, and then a friend's book, and that was taking up a lot of time. And now I'm also working part-time remotely while also taking care of my children full-time. And so I am busy, but that's not the real reason. Obviously it's been less of a priority, but whenever I go to post something, I have this anxiety that people that I don't want to see it will see it, and I feel more guarded with what I say online. And it is good to be cautious about what you say online, but I've said this, I've had these conversations with my husband. I know it's not right. Some of the scare tactics that my family has personally used on me have worked. Even though I didn't want them to work, subtly they worked. Over the past few years, one of my brothers said to me, be careful what you post online, or your mom and dad might have talked about a defamation lawsuit and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I gotta be careful. But also, I know what defamation is, and as long as I'm not lying, it's fine. I can share whatever I want that I think will be helpful to help other people, and it's all right. And I'm not sharing things with malice, and even if I was sharing things with malice, I know that even if I was sharing things with malice, it would have to also be knowingly false. And everything that I've said has been, to the best of my knowledge, true and accurate. And so I'm not doing with malice. I'm not lying. So it's okay for me to share stories, my personal history of abuse that's happened in the church that I grew up, and neglect and abuse from my family members. That's legal for me to share. And if I was sued, because technically in the United States, you can sue for anything. You won't win, you'll spend a lot of money, but you could sue for stupid stuff. And, but it's just, even after I guess a lot of you probably don't know this unless you've maybe watched every single one of my videos and watched every update that I did, but I'm no contact with most of my family. And that's been a few years now. Low contact for years, and then after the death of my youngest brother, under just the best way I can say it is huge mismanagement, and a lot of secrecy and a lot of hurt on the manner in which he died, and the timeline leading up to it, and the circumstances around the funeral. I think I did a video outlining some of that. The way that I was treated by my family around his funeral was horrible, absolutely atrocious. But anyway, there were so many things, like I could have cut contact before that, but that was the time when I decided, okay, oh, that's a baby waking up. Let's see if she's okay. I think she's fine. I think after all of that going down with my family, so much emotions, especially with my baby brother dying, and then me having a miscarriage, and then one of my other little brothers dying. It was just a lot to process, and for a while I wasn't doing great in my faith as well, and so I didn't feel like I was in a position to be not ministering, but like teaching other people, or like giving other people advice, exhorting on an online platform when I myself was not doing great. And then when I would go to make videos and think, oh, I'm gonna share about my personal experience, share things that I've been learning in my faith, then I get like my brother's voice in my head saying that they're gonna sue me, and it would just feel icky. And then also like sharing about my family and sharing I hesitate every time I like take a photo and I'm thinking, do I want to post this online? Which I think is good generally. You should hesitate. But the reason being, like, I don't like the thought of people that I've purposefully cut out of my life having access to my life still, because I post stuff publicly. And if I post publicly so that I can share things with the world, that means that I'm also sharing with family members, potentially, if they look at it, who I've completely cut off because either they were abusive to me, neglectful for me as a kid, and or, they defended abusers and covered up abuse. And those are, that's the biggest reason really that I've cut contact with them, is that's the main reason that I gave them. The family members who I've cut contact with is these things happened, and if you're defending people and covering up these things that happened, excusing this abuse, or blaming the victim for bringing it to light, for causing the drama because they brought up abuse, that's obviously not okay, and is honestly very disgusting, non-Christian behavior. And I will not tolerate it in my life. I won't tolerate it around my kids. I want my kids to grow up in a place that if they say that they were abused, I will believe them, and I will protect them with my life, and will and I will certainly not cover that up and continue to be friends with somebody who has hurt my children. And obviously that's what I've seen with my family members. And so there's something just really icky when I post something and it's like I post a photo of my children, or I share about my children, and I know that people who have hurt children are going to look at it, and it makes me feel icky to know that they have access to my children, even though I told them to stay away, that they could still have access if I post publicly into my life, that they could listen to my voice right now. They could be listening right now to my voice as I'm sharing this. That makes me feel so icky, and I hate that. Like, I don't want that to control what I post online, because then ultimately it feels like I am continuing to let them control me in some way, and I hate that. I also want to be wise about what I share online generally, and so I've just been like thinking about that off and on, and it's definitely something that when I go to post, like if I do click post on this video that I've just created, it'll be after like praying and thinking about it, because it makes me feel very vulnerable and exposed talking about this, and knowing that somebody who hurt me can just watch this casually when I've told them to stay out of my life. Yeah, that kind of sucks. But at the same time, I think that a lot of the hard things that I've gone through, I've seen God bring forth good from out of the ashes, so to speak, because I've shared it, and other people who've gone through similar things have then seen, have heard my story and been encouraged by it. And so, yeah, this is obviously very vulnerable, and we'll see if I actually post it. If I did, then hi, I'm back. And if I didn't, just, well, if I didn't, then you wouldn't see it, so. I guess we'll see. But this has been Charity Whautrich, and thank you for tuning in. And we'll see how often I post, and it might be few and far between, and I know that's okay. I'm not gonna make any promises about how often I post, because I know that with my family obligations, my new immediate family obligations, that I'm a mom, I've got a job, I've got a lot of things to care for, I've got my community. It's kind of hard to do extra things on top of that. But I really value the work that I've done before, and I thank you for watching my videos and for the encouraging words. I'm always, the encouraging words and the testimonies that I've heard from people are what make me want to post more videos. That's what makes me want to post more. Like when somebody reaches out on Instagram or finds my email and website, even if I don't respond, I see somebody's testimony of how a video might have helped them in their faith journey, and it's so encouraging to me, and it makes me want to make another video. So thank you for that. For those of you who reached out and asked if I was okay, I'm okay. I'm doing great. I just don't know what the future of my YouTube channel and other advocacy work looks like. But I appreciate you. Yeah, that's all. Bye.